The secret to living a meaningful life could be found in something as small as a pencil. What if everything you need to know about mistakes, success, pain, and legacy could be found in the story of a simple writing tool? Most people throw their pencils away when they get too short. But there's one pencil that never got thrown out because it carried 5 secrets that changed a boy's life forever. Once upon a time, in a quiet little town nestled between hills and winding rivers, lived a curious young boy who had just started school. On his first day of class, his grandfather, a kind and thoughtful old man, handed him a gift. It wasn't a toy or a gadget. It wasn't shiny or expensive. It was a pencil, plain wooden, yellow, with a pink eraser at the end. The boy looked at it, unimpressed. "Why just a pencil?" he asked. The grandfather chuckled and said, "Because this pencil will teach you everything you need to know about life, if you're paying attention." Days passed. The boy used the pencil every day. It scribbled letters, solved sums, drew sketches, and sometimes just doodled for fun. Each page began to fill with traces of his effort. Some pages were messy, others neat. Some had errors, but all had one thing in common: a mark. One evening, the grandfather looked at his notebook and said, "You see, life is the same. Every action, every word you say, every decision leaves a mark. You don't get to choose whether you leave a mark, but you can choose what kind of mark you leave." One day in class, the boy wrote an entire page, only to realize he spelled the main word wrong. Frustrated, he felt the urge to crumple the paper and start over. Then he remembered the pencil had an eraser. Carefully, he turned it around and began rubbing away the mistake. It wasn't perfect. The paper was slightly rough where he erased, but now he had space to fix the error, to write again, to try again. "That's life too," his grandfather whispered. "We all mess up, but don't be afraid to correct your mistakes. That's how we become better." Weeks turned into months. The pencil's yellow paint began to peel. Its tip had been sharpened so many times, its once smooth body was now worn and scarred. But it still worked, still wrote, still made magic. Because the real value of the pencil wasn't in its outer shell, but in the graphite inside. The grandfather said, "People will judge your clothes, your skin, your voice. But none of that is who you really are. Like this pencil, your worth comes from what's inside, your thoughts, your heart, your kindness." Over time, the pencil's tip would go dull. To keep it working, it had to be sharpened again and again. Each time, it lost a little bit of itself. But each time, it came back stronger, clearer, sharper. "It's the same with life," the grandfather said. "Growth hurts. Hardships shape you. The more you're sharpened, the more useful you become. Don't run from challenges," he said. "Let them sharpen you." One day, the pencil was barely a stub, too short to hold, too fragile to use. It was placed gently in a drawer. Years later, the boy, now a man, found the same pencil while cleaning his childhood things. His eyes filled with tears. He opened his old notebooks. The stories, the drawings, the lessons, they were all still there. The pencil was gone, but its work remained. "That's your life," the grandfather had said once. "One day, your body will fade, but your actions, your words, your love, they'll live on. You're like that pencil. You were made to write a story, your story. You'll make mistakes. You'll face hardships. You'll be judged. You'll be reshaped. But through it all, never forget your value. Because no matter how small you feel, no matter how short your time may seem, what really matters in life is what you create, what you correct, and what you leave behind." At last, which of these lessons touch your heart the most? Backhand index pointing down, tell us in the comments. We read each one. Like this video if it inspired you. Share it with someone who feels like they've lost their value. And don't forget to subscribe, because your story, like this pencil's, deserves to be heard.